Okay, Saturday, 9th of August 2025. So, Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff mentioned no. You are speculating whether you know it or not. Now, this is something that came to mind that was taught to me a few years ago through a series of videos by an individual named Simon Dixon. And one interesting thing he talked about incessantly was you're speculating whether you know it or not, as the title goes. Insofar as you may not understand the risks behind something, and yet you're still being part of it inadvertently. The example given always was money in the bank. So, with regards to you keeping it in there in the bank, you think it is safe, you think it's fine and secure and fine and dandy, but there's all kinds of layers and aspects of risk that are not enumerated, as in talked about, or pointed to, or highlighted, things like that. But as you understand a lot of the world, finance, loads of other things, as you understand more about reality, I did some videos about this. Study, always learn. That's financial advice. And the first principles of Bitcoin, a huge 52-minute video. The more you understand about the world, the more you recognize what's out there, the risks. Essentially, imagine low resolution version of reality, as in like lens, 250p, for example, pixels, versus say 4K, 8K. Just better fidelity, more nuance of life, and as you understand more in general, you understand the consequences, the second order consequences, law of unintended consequences, the psychology and anthropology behind all sorts of actions and decisions. So by doing mundane, normal things you think are safe because of culture, I did a video about this, the culture inertia, social learning theory, it's always been like that. There are levels and levels of risk hidden in every single corner behind every single inch of reality that you may be totally oblivious to until you know more about the world. For example, you can see more. You can just see further in the distance. For example, it's akin to that, like being a driver, and you can see traffic lights a mile away, quite literally a mile away, and you recognise what that's going to happen, what that means, what could happen to the traffic in front of you. That's quite powerful. So essentially, the principle here is we need to understand the world in such a high definition that we know we can see the risk behind everything because we know so much. We have learned, we have studied, we have read, we understand so much. We can look at something and think, that's a risk. That could affect me a year from now, or that could be a problem. That could be a problem if this particular scenario over here, or this. I don't know about that. I mean, the risk reward is too little reward, too much risk. Not worth it. No, thank you. Wow. And that's a very defensive position to take because you know what could happen. You understand more things about life. You're speculating whether you know it or not. And then we can go deeper to say you're speculating whether you know it or not by having money in the bank. That's the classic and prime example. Because the opposite end to that risk profile, let's say, is Bitcoin. Because of its first principles, everything's stripped away. There are no sales risk, management risk, scandal risk, legal risk, earthquake risk, pollution risk. What else? Tort risk, tariff risk, supply chain risk, marketing risk. You name it. It's all balance sheet, income risk, revenue risk, even jurisdictional risk. It's all gone, stripped away. But so that's stripped away. The first principles of Bitcoin. I did a video about this. But over here, just by being exposed to say pounds, you've got political risk. You've got UK economy risk. You've got UK political relations with EU risk. Things like that. Wow. You could even go deeper to say, as a 8K definition, you can go deeper to say, well, you've got storm risk. Storms happen. Storms hit the UK. It affects these things, as in the coast, storms, they can affect the economy. Therefore, it affects the price. Therefore, affects the forex. Wow. Affects the exchange rate. Things like that. The more you understand, the more you realize that law of unintended consequences kicks in at every single moment. Behind every door, window, leaf, car, person, everything, law of unintended consequences. So you're speculating whether you know it or not. Wow. Very important to understand. But But otherwise, Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Subscribe for more, and you will see me tomorrow.